Hello, vanakkam, welcome back. We are talking about preparation of resume. Resume prepare பண்ணதுக்கு அப்புறம் what do you do? Applying. How do you apply? அதை பத்தி பேசணும். Most importantly, how do you prepare for the interview? Okay, the prep for the interview. How do you prepare for an interview is something very, very important. We generally miss it out. A student who is looking for a job, or you're a seasoned employee in a workforce, like you have several years of experience, or you are an entrepreneur, you're going for a pitch or whatever it is, right? I see this as a gap. Generally, when we are going into a customer conversation, before we go to the meeting, we do a prep. இதுக்கு pre-call prep அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம். Pre-call prepனா before the conversation, what is the prep, what you do. So most importantly, what we have to do before we enter into conversation, who is that particular individual whom we are going to converse with? யாரோட நம்ம பேச போறோம், அவங்களோட ப்ரொஃபைல் என்ன, அவங்களோட பேக்ரவுண்ட் என்ன, why do we want to do all that? So that when you get into a conversation, you are able to immediately strike a relationship or strike a chord. You are able to talk at similar or same wavelength. So அதே கான்செப்டை what we are doing in நம்ம ஆர்கனைசேஷன்ல இல்ல பல ஆர்கனைசேஷன்ல this is what they do. We have what is called as a pre-call prep. So on the pre-call prep if you take it to the interview, okay, to the interview stages while you're looking for jobs, how do you apply that? This is the way to look at it. For example, உங்களுக்கு ஒரு interview call வந்திருக்கு. You are supposed to come for this interview on this particular date to this particular location அப்படின்னு சொல்லி உங்களுக்கு இன்டர்வியூக்காக கூப்பிட்டுருக்காங்கன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்க. நீங்க என்ன பண்ணுவீங்க இன்டர்வியூக்கு முன்னாடி? வெறும் உங்களோட ரெஸ்யூமே ஒரு பேப்பர்ல ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணிட்டு ஒரு ஃபோல்டர்ல எடுத்துட்டு being well dressed and show up at the interview is not the prep work. That is not good enough. It is not going to cut it. Where you are going to make a difference and how you are going to win that particular job is around the pre-meeting preparation or the pre-call prep. If it is a Zoom meeting, you will call it as a pre-call prep. If it is an in-person meeting, you are calling it as a pre-meeting prep. Pre-meeting prep na enna? You should ask the person who called you, who am I going to interview with? And the panel la எத்தனை பேர் இருக்க போறாங்க? Ask these questions. They will give you the names of the people who are going to be interviewing you. அவங்க பேர் கொடுத்தாங்கன்னா ask them what is their title, what do they do, and the names are note down பண்ணிக்கோங்க. Immediately get on to LinkedIn. LinkedIn it's like a huge boon for us, for the overall world. Let me put it that way. Why? Because இதுக்கு LinkedInக்கு முன்னாடி back in the day when I was attending interviews, I didn't know who is going to come and interview me. இன்னைக்கு we know exactly who is going to come for the interview, and you can find as much information about that particular individual, he or she who is going to interview. If you go to LinkedIn, you can see what is their background, அவங்க எந்தெந்த கம்பெனிக்கு வேலை செஞ்சிருக்காங்க இதுக்கு முன்னாடி, which schools did they study, which colleges did they study, what is their interest. You are able to see their social profile, what is the kind of books what they read, what are the kind of influencers what they follow, or what are the kind of companies what they follow. Maybe you will have a lot of similarities to their profile, and you are, like for example, you may be from the same town, you could have gone to the same college, you never know. But the moment you are able to understand who is the person who is going to interview you, you will have to figure out what are the commonalities between you and that particular individual. Why? The moment you get into the room, you say, hey, such a pleasure to meet you. You're from the same school. You're from the same college. This is where I studied. I'm a big follower of this particular author whom you follow. I'm a big fan of this particular book, what you have read. I'm a big fan of this particular social community, what you follow. Thank you for everything what you do. You are able to warm up the conversation and you are able to come together on the commonalities what you both have. The moment you arrive at a commonality what you both have, you are having a very different conversation. In a conversation, it is not an interview. It is a conversation what you both are having. How do you convert an interview to a conversation is what you need to think. And in the pre-call preparation and the pre-meeting preparation, what you need to do is you need to research about the individual, think about what are the commonalities, what you're going to be presenting when you first go and shake your hands and say, hey, such a pleasure to meet you. அப்படின்னு சொல்றீங்கல்ல, அந்த டைம்ல என்ன சொல்ல போறீங்க? That is what is going to help you in doing these preparations. It is going to put you on top of the pack, on top of the pile as a person who has the curiosity to ask a very relevant question about the opportunity what he's going to interview for. So, I hope this content was of value to you. For the time what you've invested, I am forever grateful. Please let me know what your comments and thoughts are. I am forever grateful for the time what you've invested in this conversation. I look forward to seeing you on the other side.